Hello YouTube, Gashif here from KRGraphics, and I'm back with another video. And we're going to pick up right where we left off. This time, we're going to work on the glove. I elected to skip the shirt and the pants because those particular models are going to be textured in Unity using my new shader tool. So, for the leather glove, I wanted the same kind of attention to detail as the boots. Basically, old rawhide gloves. I didn't want to have the typical black leather glove you always see. I also want to differ my color palette a little bit. So for this one, after learning from the last video on how to quit my leather, I'm gonna start off with the cells procedural again. And the trick I used and the trick I learned last night too is if I turn off all the material channels and leave one on and put the leather on it, I can quickly create the texture detail. And actually right now I'm just looking real quick at the smart materials to see which leather I used when I first bought the color out. See, that's the challenge of working on these video sessions. You seem to forget where you left off when you first did the design for it. So I think it was I picked shiny leather and try to see how quickly I can create a leather texture. And right here, this is pretty ugly here. I ended up not using this. Yeah, those are texture maps, and unfortunately they're apparently they're not high resolution, and basically this is why I elected to use shaders inside of Unity to create the detail I desire. And not only that, I can also tile the texture as high as I want with no loss in detail. As you can see here, it didn't look very good. So let's undo that, and I'm going to go back and I think I was trying to find what leather I used originally. I wasn't very sure. Yeah, it might have been the one of the smart materials, the fine leather. Yeah, that's what I used for this tutorial. So anyway, I'm going to try to you see I'm kind of shuffling back and forth, and I don't know why Painter doesn't have all the folders set to pass through. That's kind of a thing you need to have in Painter. So right now I'm using the cellular material and just putting it on the high channel. And as I mentioned in the previous video that I found out a way to do this all quickly without having to drag and drop all the textures to each slot. And this method will ensure that all of it is similar. And you're probably wondering why I didn't time-lapse this video. And that's mainly because I want to keep the real-time nature of my series. I want you to see all my experimentation, everything I do is experiment. And I'm messing around with blend modes on this, just so I can see which layer will blend correctly. I usually end up doing a multiply, which didn't work for me either. And using the levels usually helps me place my detail. Helps me place my control the surface detail. And remember, if you're working with metal rough, you actually want to make sure that you white is very rough and black is very smooth. And I'm going back to my recent texture set to see what I did before I add the boot leather, because I have no idea, because I don't recall what I did. Yeah, it was a screen layer, so I was kind of going back and changing things around a bit. Yeah, it was a screen layer with the roughness inverted. So hopefully in the future, I do all this. I do have to real time work, and it's a pain in the butt trying to go back in there and fix everything, but it looks okay to me. And also too, I think in this video, yeah, I didn't put a pass through. So hopefully in an update to Substance Painter, they will actually add a pass through to make sure all the folders by default are set to pass through. That's an important aspect of the modeling aspect of the not modeling texturing aspect of Painter. I'm used to using pass through all the time, so you ever do this and you don't get your texture where it looks supposed to look, just set the pass through. That was kind of funny. It reminds me of looks like that thing from Fantastic Four. It's kind of creepy looking. I'm looking at that there, it's creepy. And again, I'm working in 4K so that I can see where my details are. And the height, I set to something very, very low so that it doesn't protrude on the surface too much when we're working. And this is where I end up taking the tiling of the texture and all the way up high as possible. But not too high that you can't see your detail. And I think this is a great way to make a leather. It's using leather relief. For the glove, I didn't have any references, so I kind of winged it a bit on this one. My usual process for modeling leather gloves in ZBrush is using a brush to model that detail in there. And of course, it didn't work out as I wanted to. So I'm fixing the blur here on the filter there. It's a little too high. In real life is very, very sharp. There you go. I'm going, basically I'm going to use my blur filter in Painter. I try to go as low as possible, depending on the size of your texture. And that's the nature of working in Substance Painter. It's non-destructive. It's easy to work with. And I have a great time working on this. And lots of tiling too. It's procedural, so you won't see very much of it. And I lower my detail like 1 to make sure that the detail isn't too crazy. Though there are better ways of controlling your controlling the tiling and the other detail. For me, for this glove, I did not want to subdivide a glove to a few million polygons just for a leather detail. And I also want to try to utilize more of Substance Painter. So now, aside from this, I'm trying to looking through my channels here and seeing what I do need. I do have my channels for, you see on the screen, that's called Detail Normals Mask. This custom channel will allow me to use the colors that are displayed: red, green, blue, and white. White will be in the alpha channel, and what white does, these colors will allow me to blend my normal detail into the existing normal map. And so in Substance Painter, I went ahead and created a user channel, and I called it I give it a name. This one's going to be normal alpha. I haven't had a reason to use this yet, so I'm kind of waiting for an opportunity to really use that feature. And I'm probably at the end of this video, at the end of the design process, I'm going to end up splitting the see the trim on the jacket. I'm going to end up splitting that and using Moto's rectangle mapping, so that I'll be able to tile like I'll be able to tile like all kinds of fabric details and cloth detail in Unity. This will also work in Unreal 4 too. Yeah, so I'm kind of renaming my my layer here. This is a very important part of me changing my layer name. And yes, I should have been a little faster here, but you know how that goes. Usually when I work, I like to experiment and see where my detail work goes. And also too, these channels will also work with my my export template. I use Alloy, and I also use a tool called Amplify Shader Editor in Unity. It's very similar to Unreal 4's material editor. And I'm kind of changing the color here of the mapping. So basically, once I update my shader, I can set it to white, and that will read my that will allow me to add like an extra channel for normal mapping my characters. So basically, I'll be able to blend up to four normal maps for my model, and I pray that I don't hit any kind of shader limits. I think it's in shader model, I think 5. I think it's 16 samplers. I'm not sure of the exact count. I'm not a shader programmer, so I don't know what I'm looking for. All I care about is making sure that it works and it looks good for what I want to do. All right. So I'll go ahead and now create a new fill layer. And I'm going to do the same thing I did for the boot. So I'll call it glove wear, and I basically wanted to make the glove look worn out. You've ever seen those old work gloves? I think they're brown. The brown rawhide gloves. You see them a lot, like an old kind of gloves used in working with mechanics and or like an old railway yard. So I kind of want to go in and make the glove feel worn. So kind of going in and just picking the color of the glove, or actually creating a mask for it actually. And see, this is the disadvantage of working on a video first and recording afterwards. At least when I'm recording both, I can actually talk and record at the same time. But unfortunately, I couldn't do both. So I had to record the video first and then the audio second. And for this one, I elected to use a generator for the glove this time. And basically, I'm going to remove the curvature map, ambient occlusion, any kind of maps that would contribute to the coloring I don't want. When I did the boot, I want to experiment on how to actually create the boot detail. And while we're speaking of sampling color, I just found out that the P key in Substance Painter allows you to sample the material for your brush. So you ever want to do that, just hover your mouse over your polymodel you want, hit the P key, tap the P key one time, and then go over any color in your model, and it will pick the material for you. I think that is really useful. And right now I'm just going to go in and paint out the any extra dirt that is on my out from the generator. And that is actually very useful too. You can actually paint out, you can go to your generators and paint them out. It's actually very useful for that kind of, useful for work like this, where you can detail your model and do your model detailing and paint it out at the same time. I mean, I think that's very impressive. I was impressed when I found out when I first used this program over a year ago that I can actually do that. I can put a generator on my mask and then paint over it. Now that is very non-destructive. I like that. And I think the same can be done in Mari. As far as like painting programs I prefer for painting my textures, I prefer Painter. Mari's cool. Mari's great and everything, but for some reason I've grown very comfortable using Substance Painter. As you can see, I'm trying to get the fingers in there. It's hard to do that, so I switched to a 2D view, and I start painting in there very carefully. Basically, painting black on a paint operator here, it ensures that I'm erasing any remnants of what the generator creates for me. I also remove the cavity map so that I don't get any kind of curvatures in the surface. I want it to appear as flat as possible. So I'm just kind of going in and just painting out the details that I don't want in the texture. So it's very important that I do all this, especially if I'm going to be working on a model where it has a lot of texture detail. And also too, painting this way also helps remove like tiling effects that you do not want in your paint. I think when I did this glove, I was referencing an old glove I had at work. This old brown glove. And yes, the X button will be my new friend for painting masks and sampling color. I mean, I think it's important to learn your shortcuts. It definitely help you in the long run. I mean, basically, I cannot see myself not work without shortcuts. That is highly important to work without shortcuts. So I work with shortcuts. It'll definitely increase the speed of your workflow tremendously. So I'm kind of going in right now and painting out anything the generator left behind. And usually the boots, I'm painting light and darker values to vary the surface a little bit to get the feeling of a really old glove. And sorry I paused here actually. I was I was trying to duplicate the surface and there we go. So glove wear dark, and now I'm gonna this is where I take my paint layer and I delete it. And not only that too, I also usually take the generator and I hit random so that it'll generate a new kind of surface. This is great. These procedurals are very helpful. So hitting random helps a lot. It keeps your surfaces varied, and you do not want your surfaces to not feel varied. And what I should have done too as well in this one, I should have created created a paint mask, create a mask to keep the detail locked in, and then paint another mask on top of that so that I keep my details locked in. Because for some odd reason, when you create it's kind of why too I created the mask in the first layer on top of everything to keep the detail sealed in. So I'm kind of going in and just turning off the. You see what I did there, and I think the ambient occlusion is influencing the look of the color. So kind of going in there and just creating some really cool stuff, and it's kind of therapeutic to really sit down and paint. I encourage anyone who wants to paint, game textures or from film, and to sit down and really think about what you want to paint, create. Get out of the box. Don't be afraid to create. So I'm kind of going in and just painting darker spots on the model. There you go. Look at that. Looks really beautiful too. It gives your surfaces a much more natural feel to it. And I didn't like it very much, so I went back and changed the added it again so that I can keep it random. Yeah, and I think the curvature and the AO map really influenced the look of the model. So there we go. So by removing those two elements, it'll make it easier to add my surface detail. And basically, I'm just removing all the maps I don't need, which will facilitate the need to paint. And I think I was like getting frustrated at this point, trying to fix the glove and see what I wanted it to be. So I just went in and just paint everything right the generator. And it's highly important that you do your painting, you take your time and think about your design. For this particular series, I wanted to keep it close and personal. To create, to experiment, and have fun with it. I didn't want anything to feel too static. It's highly important to make sure you do your modeling work, everything feels organic. Nothing feels forced here. And basically, in this digital enclave, you are the master. You are in total control. And with a program like Substance Painter, you will feel exactly that. You will feel completely in control. And that's important to me too when I'm creating. I want to feel like I'm in control of this canvas, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure that it works out the way I want it. So right now I'm just kind of going in, and at this point I was thinking about creating more detail. And now I'm creating another layer for the cavities. It's not physically accurate, but usually I use cavities to help me. It help the surface pop a little bit. And I'm using the curvature map in the glove to really add that extra level of detail to the base color. So those are the oops, I think I used the wrong one. And this is why I also named my my textures very carefully. Also too, the cavity map also help a bit with additional detail. Turn these off. And you're probably noticing that I'm not using spec gloss in this one. The specular map is specific to the shade that I'm using in Unity. And as of right now, I'm still waiting for the specular values of the materials. They're currently hard coded into the shader tools that I'm using, which is great actually. It's a real time saver. And there's a roughness map on the surface there. I'll probably take that down a little bit just to make it a little less evident that's there. But look at the glove though. It looks like an actual leather glove. It looks really old. You know, like it's been through battle. Just rough it a little bit. And I love the fact that I use like a brown glove, not like black. You know, the typical monochrome colors I want to avoid as much as possible when creating. There we go. And recycle the material to see what I need. It looks pretty good from here. And also the cavity map will also help with placing it'll help with placing details like stitches and other stuff that we need later on. So right now we're gonna, speaking of stitches, I'm gonna add them right now. So we're gonna do exactly that. So like the boot, I create the stitches. And it's very, stitches are easy to create. I could have did this in ZBrush, but I wanted to take a stab at doing this in Painter to see how far I can take it. And there's actually something called a stitch generator. I found this out last night what it's used for, and it's actually pretty useful. I can get my stitch detail as easy as I want to it. I can turn on the angle 90 and just paint. You also want to turn on your follow path. You go painting on the path. And it took me a few tries to get it right, where I wanted it. But yeah, I think I've got to change an option or something. This is what happens when you work. What happens when you work a lot on your work and you forget to change something. So I'm kind of going in and just adding the little old stitches you see in gloves, and it'll feel natural. It'll feel natural too when you paint on the surface in Painter. Just kind of taking the strings and making it a little thinner on the surface. It's very important to do that, otherwise it'll look weird. I don't do that. And also too, by painting on the mask, I can control the color of the stitches, their height, and how much it'll influence the normal mapping of your surface. I must say, guys, I really enjoy painting textures. It takes years to learn this kind of thing, but if you observe the world around you, it makes it easier to work with. I think I am. Hopefully, in Painter, there's a feature soon where you can pick the meshes and hide the ones you don't want to see. Let me see, do it here. I'm trying to see how it looks. I do it there. Usually I don't work in the 2D view intentionally because it's kind of cumbersome, and it uses certain space ratio when working. Kind of going in and just trying to make sure the stitches are the same size relatively to the other hand. There we go. And usually, of course, I paint my textures. I will usually take my time and sit down and create the textures, the detail that I need. Because, it's important. Take your time. Don't be in such a hurry to finish so quickly. There we go. And now the stitches look really, really good at this point. So kind of go around, have a quick look at everything. Checking the other side too to make sure the stitches feel consistent. They have to have the same size. And I went ahead and I erased the stitches in this hand because it didn't match the other hand. And the final texture output's 4K, so it's going to look really, all of them drawing small, it's going to actually look really, really, really good once it's finished. Just kind of going in there and just fixing the stitches a bit. It's actually very important that I make sure that they feel consistent, that the size is correct. And I think later I'm gonna try to experiment with filling, creating the pocket of stitches with painter. The pucker feel of a stitch of a raised fabric. To make it feel like it's not just pasted on there, but also to give the feeling of depth to the material. And that's a great thing about Painter. When you paint the normal maps on your surface, it looks really, really good. I think I had a little problem here trying to add the stitching on there. There we go. And also too, the angle jitter makes the stitching feel more random. I want to make it feel a little more random than usual. I'm kind of going in there and just now I'm going there and changing the material of the stitches and making sure that it looks really clean when I go in there and add the stitching to the surface. And I'm turning off those channels because I don't need them. I mean, I'm definitely glad they have a program like Substance Painter, because it actually makes texturing that much simpler when you're working in a program like this, and it's even more powerful. It's even stronger if you paint using substances that are made in Designer. It is that strong of a powerful of a tool. So I'm kind of going in real quick and doing some changes. So, and of course, anything I do here, it'll change in the normal map, which is great. That's what I want to do with this. So, guys, I really hope you enjoyed watching this this session of touching the glove. I had fun with this one, and I definitely feel like it feels very old and ancient to me. As always, feel free to leave a comment below for any questions or to say hey. Leave a like to help to grow the channel, and subscribe. So, until next time, this is Kashif from KRGraphics saying have a wonderful day and happy arting. Thank you very much. Goodbye.